Hi guys. It's saying low connection. Okay, we're good. I think. Let me go check if the video's up. Hello, hello. Hi guys. So what is today? Labor Day? That's really bad. Happy Labor Day, I think. Oh my God. Okay, yes, we are live. All right. We're up and rolling. I don't know why my computer's doing some silly things. If it cuts out, just let me know, guys. Okay. We have a pretty powerful topic today. And I feel like this particular Facebook Live, I'm going to warn you ahead of time that this particular topic is for the people who want to see something that they can't unsee that will change your life forever. Does that make sense? So I'm warning you ahead of time that once you hear this, you can never unhear it, and it's going to change your life, and it's going to change it so much for the better. But it is one of those things. I've had them in my life where it's like I hear them and I just want to go la, 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 la. Like I don't want to hear that. I don't want to see it. I just want to go back to being completely naive about this. And then when I realize what I'm really saying, I don't want to do that. I'm so glad I heard it, because we get stuck in analyzing in the loop of like, why is this happening? And basically the biggest one for what we're talking about today is the habit of like, you know what to do. You have an inkling of what you want your life to look like. And you promise yourself that you're going to do things, but then you don't do them. Or even it might go as far as, hey, Stefan, hi guys, thanks for saying hi. Hi, Katie. Hello, y'all. Or maybe it's you promise yourself you do things and you can't get yourself to do them. Or you do things, right? And you'll show up and you'll do it for a little while and you'll get some traction and then you'll fall backwards. Maybe you do like really amazing for a month and then you have 2 months of crap. Or you do really amazing for 3 weeks and then you have 2 weeks of crap. Something like that, right? Marlene, I'm ready. All right, sister. Unblock those ears because we're rolling with this one. This is big girl panties or big boy panties. So it's also blatantly pushing away good things in your life. Like the habit of like when, if there's somebody you really like, you'll sort of freak out or act like a complete jerk because you're scared that they're going to hurt you first. Or, the times when you see yourself acting out of alignment or not to your best self because you're afraid you're going to be disappointed, you're afraid you're going to get hurt, you're afraid something bad's going to happen. So in essence, it's the root of unworthiness. Hey, Joey. Hi, Seja. I don't know. I still say that sometimes. So it is like the root of unworthiness or undeservability, feeling like you don't deserve that. Or if you think something good's going to happen, then you feel like it's going to get taken away, or you'll screw it up, or something bad's going to come with it, or sort of that sense of waiting for the other shoe to drop. So this is like kind of all meshed together in this behavior. So the topic for today, I'm just going to look down at my computer too so I can see the comments and stuff as well. So the topic for today is unworthy or unwilling. Now, here's the deal. Yes, most people struggle with, everybody struggles with some level of undeservability or unworthiness. Everybody on the planet struggles with this. Every single human being. If you are human, then you struggle with indeservability or a sense of unworthiness to some level. Some people have a really high level of standards and worthiness in their love life and how they're treated, and yet for them being successful and in the business, it's really, really low, and they just feel like everything they do is going to be a failure, and then they do all this messy things to screw up their business on the back end, right? Other people, it's in reverse. Other people, it's completely different areas in the different, 7 areas of our life, most important areas of life. Now, what I want to dig into today is some mischief that falls in underneath what we label as unworthiness or undeservability. So if you haven't identified that what's actually happening is a sense of unworthiness, now you know, okay? So that behavior that you're seeing, it's like, it's unworthy. So what happens is our nervous system, right? Because your brain's only job is to get you to do whatever you did yesterday or the day before, keep you alive. That's its job. We all know this, okay? That's its job. It's what it's supposed to do. So your nervous system is screaming like, hey, this new thing, don't do that. You're going to get hurt. Something bad's going to happen, okay? That's like the very basics of it, okay? So then we go to do this new behavior and we have the sense that something bad's going to happen. And the reason we have a sense that something bad's going to happen is because we've become acclimated to however life is. So what my marriage was like before I got a divorce, 13 years of being with that particular human being was like the standard that I had. So I knew if I wanted to scale what my love life looked like, what my romantic life looked like, I would have a lot of work to do from my energetic set point of what my nervous system was used to in romance. I would have a lot of work to do to scale to a different level of what's familiar to me so that my standard is different. That I'm just aware of that because I'm aware of how the brain works. But that is the same in your love life. It's the same in your business. It's the same with money. It's the same with being seen, with power, with fame, with the ability to affect other people's lives. It's the same as a parent. It's the same as your impact on the planet. It's the same in everywhere. So unworthiness is nothing more than like, this has happened in my life and it has created a set point that's familiar to me. Now, where the mischief is, and the work that I'm going to do in the program coming up. So I forgot to tell you guys, we start tomorrow. Tomorrow the program starts. I'll tell you guys more information about it. It's mandyperry.com/love if you want to check it out. 21 days of rewiring this. However, what I want you guys to understand right now, when you have lived a certain way and you tell yourself this story of like, I don't feel worthy of that, there's a cultural and religious belief or standard in our culture and in many cultures or religious beliefs, etc., that being humble, feeling like I need to overgive, feeling like I'm unworthy, I don't deserve that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So why would you try to fix that or change that? Because you should feel unworthy, which blows my ever-loving mind. Like, in all honesty, how the hell did so many people say, okay, that's okay. Yes, my standard is I will feel unworthy and undeserving. I don't understand that. Really? That's the standard? The standard is that we're going to be in a place where we're undeserving and unworthy, and that's cool? That's like, that's a good thing to do? That is completely blows my mind. That is absolutely absurd and ridiculous. So we're going with no to that one, okay? No. Absolutely not. I'm here to push back on that one. Why would the standard ever be that I innately feel unworthy or undeserving? So if that one has been taught to you, I'm here to say, can we just take a second look at that one? Right? Oh, I'm so glad, brother. Can we take a second look at this one really quick? Because it's really ridiculous. That's like saying, the standard is I'm just going to live in pain for the rest of my life. It's not like saying that. It is saying that because it's painful to feel unworthy of what we feel called to in our lives. Like, I'm going to be given a purpose and a destiny inside of me, something that I'm called to bring my gifts to this world. And I'm going to feel a longing and a kind of an emptiness when I'm not engaged in that. But then I'm also going to hold the belief that I'm unworthy to create that. That is so ridiculous. Okay, so we're smashing that one. We're chopping it. We're chucking it out the window. Okay, that one's gone. We're done with that one. Now, there's still something left though, right? So this is like this familiar level. This is like what I'm familiar with. I can see that there's something new, but every time I go to reach for it, I get there a little bit and then I crash and burn. I get there a little bit, I crash and burn. I promise myself over and over again, and then I lose my sense of self-esteem and I lose my trust in myself to be able to show up. Then I'm not making power moves in my life because I don't trust myself to back myself because I've broken my word to myself so many times, or I failed at accomplishing this thing so many times, or, you know, just the way I watch myself show up really frustrates me because we have high standards for ourselves. So those behaviors are based off of a story that we have told ourselves based on the unworthiness. So just track with me for 1 second. What if it has nothing to do with unworthiness, and that is sort of a cultural thing that has been pushed in that's acceptable, and it's an acceptable way of being unwilling to do scary things? What if we took away the cultural acceptability of like, yes, unworthiness, that's a very humble, you know, a noble thing. What if it's not noble? It's not noble. It's not noble. It's not noble. That's like me saying it's noble for me to pretend that I can't be a good enough mom for my children, so I'm just not going to try. I'm going to keep complaining about how I just don't know how to be a better mother, and I'm not going to do what it takes to be there for my children and to raise the game in my motherhood because I don't know how. Like all these things happen to me, and this is my energetic set point, and I can't be a better mother. Completely unacceptable. That's not acceptable. So why is it acceptable in our business and our purpose, with our success, with our finances? Why is it acceptable there? I don't feel worthy to charge the prices that I feel like I would love to get. I don't feel worthy to show up and speak my truth on a Facebook Live. I don't feel worthy to be my actual self. I don't feel worthy, like my words aren't impactful. My words aren't powerful. I'm not good enough. I don't know how to do this. I just feel unworthy. I just want to help everybody for free. That's like saying, I just want to lay in bed and not take care of my kids. It's the same thing, but for whatever reason, it's been like, like sprinkled sparkles all over it in our culture. And I just want to wipe that away. So what if it has nothing to do with a genuine belief of unworthiness, but it is an energetic set point? I'll give you that. There's work to do, right? That's the work we're going to do in the 21-day program. There's work to do to recalibrate your nervous system, just like I am doing in my dating life and my romance life, and I'm watching myself scale and scale. I just jumped right in because I knew there was work to do. So yes, there's work to do, but what if it has nothing to do with truly believing that you're unworthy and everything to do with that being the perfect justification for you being unwilling to do shit that's scary? Because what if I fail? Because what if I look stupid? Because what if I find out that I'm not made of what I believe I'm made of? What if I find out that I'm not as powerful as I hope that I am, or all this fire doesn't go anywhere? Or what if I, if when I jump in and I do the thing, I find out that I really can't do it? What if whatever all the other hundreds of reasons that we hold back and we make justifications for not moving forward in our life? Like, when did it become acceptable for us to just say, like, yeah, I just feel like I'm not worthy of that? No, you have an energetic set point. There's something you're familiar with. I'm familiar with something. Let's just say there's a human being who eats really unhealthy, like Diet Cokes every day and cookies for breakfast and pizza for lunch and Burger King for dinner, and that's just what they're used to for the last 10 years. And now they're really unhealthy, and now they're wanting to move forward, and they're like, okay, but that is so like overwhelming. I just feel like I'm not worthy to eat healthy food. I'm not worthy to buy organic food. Bullshit. You feel plenty worthy to eat healthy food. You just don't want to. That's overwhelming. You don't trust yourself that you'll be able to do it. And your body's craving something else, and you have an energetic set point. Like, this is what's familiar to me. Now eating healthy feels so like, I can't even imagine. That just feels like so much. Like, what if we just called the thing what it was? That's going to take care of half of the work right there. Yes, we still need to change our energetic set point and what's familiar to us, right? But like in the blog I explained the other day, the work that we have to do. So for the Love Your Way Rich, the 21-day program that's coming up, it's not about, in this 21 days, we're going to change every single pattern of yours and we're just going to break through every single window of worthiness. That's ridiculous. That's completely absurd. If somebody claims to do that, then stay the hell away from their stuff, right? It's about you just starting to see it for what it is. So the justifications and excuses that we're using start to unravel. So the glamour of being this humbly unworthy person starts to fade away, and that's no longer a justification and excuse that can be used. And what we begin to do is simply feel worthy enough or recalibrate ourselves to a level enough where we will say one yes to back our dream and one no to set a boundary. We will take one step away from the things that are unhealthy, that are overrunning our lives, that are draining our energy, that are not in alignment with ourselves. We're going to take one step away from that and one step towards our dreams. One step in each direction. That's it. One step. Because what really is required in order for you to feel worthy, in order for you to have a lot of powerful self-confidence, is there's nothing you can do sitting in your desk or sitting on a journal for you to gain self-confidence in yourself. When you have had the pattern of holding back or stop trusting yourself or not feeling worthy or not feeling deserving, the only thing that's going to bring the self-confidence that you're looking for to scale to that next level, to really trust yourself, to back yourself, to make those power moves and follow through with keeping your word on the back end, is watching yourself actually do it and taking action and watching yourself actually do it, so you begin to learn to trust yourself to whatever scaled next level you're going to. You trust yourself with the things you already do well. We're talking about getting to that next level, implementing that thing that you haven't, scaling your business, starting to make the finances that you want, starting to have the romance life that you want, etc., right? Now here's the thing. Sometimes the reason why we haven't been willing to look at this is because we have this weird loyalty thing going on. Like, let me give you an example, because I feel like this will be confusing for people, because it was for me when I first started understanding this. So for example, a person who had a really abusive, traumatic childhood will tell themselves a story that they're unworthy because it's really hard for them to look at the fact that their parents fucked shit up. Like, really fucked some shit up, right? And because they want to love their parents and they want to have loving parents. So since I desire to have loving parents, I'm going to create a story where they're more loving than they actually were. And that story looks like me creating a story that I'm not deserving. And that's what I'm going to create in order to have the experience of life that I'm looking to have, because that makes me feel safer. Another example may be Your marriage is just, it's like so much harder than it is good. There's no more love and romance there. It's really a lot of bickering. It's really a big struggle. It's not expanding you. It's not the kind of love life that's going to expand you to be able to bring your gifts to the world. And you're just going to keep this story going on about feeling undeserving of greater love, and it's because of my childhood, and it's because of all these other things, and I'm just going to stay at this energetic set point because I don't want to look at the fact that this marriage isn't working. I don't know how to deal with that. That's too overwhelming. I'm not going to look at it. So we'll keep this false sense of loyalty to protect something that we aren't ready to look at, or that we're not wanting to face, because we don't know how to replace it. And like my mom said when I was a kid, right longing, wrong medicine. I long to feel like I have loving parents. My medicine is to create a story that I'm unworthy so that I can feel like I have that. I long to have a romantic relationship, so I'm going to make up a story that I'm unworthy so that I don't have to deal with this and face this. I don't have to do the growth work to set the boundaries here, have the tough, loving conversation, or get out of the relationship, or clean up my own behavior so that I can have clarity on this. I just don't want to look at that. So it's just so much easier to play this culturally sound or this culturally acceptable story that I'm undeserving or unworthy, and I just can't charge people, and I just feel bad doing this, and I feel bad doing those things, and we just keep playing this story because of this weird loyalty that we have going on. That's some weird ass loyalty. That's not loyalty, right? It's not something to judge ourselves for. I did it. Oh, I did it in every single area of my life. Everything I just mentioned, I have walked through myself. This is why I'm on the other side. This is why I created this program that I have coming up for you guys to be able to walk through. So let me just recap this, because I feel like this is like heavy stuff, and I don't hear people talking about this. I don't hear anybody talking about this. 1, a sense of unworthiness is a made-up story because there's shit we don't want to face. That is separate than what is familiar to me. Accepting that, hey, this level right here is what I'm familiar with. So the tendencies will be for me to accept the same level of behavior. So if I'm used to being told I'm stupid, when I get a new boyfriend and he calls me stupid, I'm not going to react the same way as if I grew up in a household where I was told that I was loved and I was special and I was important and I was smart, and then a boyfriend calls me stupid. My energetic set point is completely different. That is real. That is not believing I'm unworthy. That is just, this is what's familiar to me. So we can separate the emotions from it. Let's separate the two. One of them is just science, and it's how your brain works, and it's very, very easy to scale through. I'm going to take you guys right through it in the program. The other one is emotional. It's a story, and we have to deal with this part too. This is why people who try, if you don't deal with both ends of this, if you don't separate the two and deal with them separately, it's like, I'm emotionally eating, and I also don't know how to make dinners easy. Those aren't the same thing. I need to deal with those two separately. Learn how to cook and make food easy. Learn why I'm emotionally eating, right? So this sense of worthiness and deservability, here's the symptoms of it. The symptoms of it are everything we talked about earlier, right? It's like trying to do something and then failing over and over and over, doing really good for a while and then crashing, burning, reverting back to the same stuff, pushing away good things, causing drama or trouble. When you make money, you spend it all because you think you're fucked up and I need to keep spending it on all these resources to try to make myself better, or fix my kids, or fix my parents, or fix my brothers and sisters, or fix my business, or fix my team, or we're always fixing something and something's always broken, and there's always that sense of I can't, I want this, but I don't think I can have it. So like, it's the same emotion. It's like this wanting and can't having all mixed together, instead of like I'm clear, this is my vision. I'm clear, this is what I want. This is what I want to create. I'm also clear that energetically my set point is here because of X, Y, and Z. You don't even need to know why. It doesn't even matter. You can just tune into what percentage do I feel like I can have that? Do you feel like you can create a multi-million-dollar business in the next couple of years? Because you can. Because if one person can, anyone can, period, end of story. That is proven in history. You can't argue that one. I know that there's, some people out there, Gary Vee and stuff, that says like not everybody's able to do it. I call bullshit. History says otherwise. And I'm living proof of it, so I get to say it. Because I'm living proof of someone who scaled incredibly rapidly from the trenches, from the deep trenches, with absolutely nothing going for me whatsoever. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I really mean this. If one person can, anyone can. So you get to check in. Do I believe that I deserve to be treated special and safe and be well taken care of, and have someone who supports me and encourages me? Or do I feel like I should be able to be picked apart, and they're saying things that sort of like, that knock me down or make me play small? Am I allowed to celebrate my big wins? Do people show up and celebrate me? Do they back me? Am I allowed to charge my worth? Do I believe that I can crush my numbers this month? And do I believe I get to have it all while my values are in place? What's my values? Taking care of myself first, taking care of my kids and my family second. My business comes third, right? So am I able to have everything that I feel like I desire while I'm keeping my values in place? Because if your values aren't in place, you're not gonna take the action. You're not. If I think doing something in my business is literally gonna hurt one of my kids, I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna show up and do it. End of story, period. It has to be in alignment. But let me just tell you, when you mix these two fireballs, sky is the limit. When you can separate these two, deal with the two things of worth, and then you get your behaviors to back your values, you will be unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. Because the woman or the man who knows what they're here to do, and they get that it's an energetic set point, and they can see, oh, this is the work to do, and they've worked out the emotional stuff, released the justifications, the stories, the cultural stuff that was put on them, released the stuff that was never meant to be there, and then they get clear what actions are going to back my values to get me that result right there that I now am in alignment with. It's no longer striving and pushing yourself and disciplining and willing your way to do it. That's gone. That is gone. If you guys think that I disciplined my way into this business, you are nuts. I don't have that much discipline. I don't. I have a decent amount. I was in the Marine Corps. I was a single mom. There's a lot of motivation to do things in those arenas, but really it was just the discipline of remembering what I wanted over and over and over and over, and being in alignment with my values over and over and over. I'm a passionate person, but I'm telling you, just like anybody else on the planet, when my emotions were mixed with the worthiness, I couldn't untangle it. And when my values weren't, when my behavior, not my behavior, it is behavior, but when my action steps, like what are my power action steps today? When my power action steps, I wasn't clear that it was backing my values, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't, because if there was even a small chance that doing something for my business might hurt or take away from my children, I wasn't doing it. End of story. I had to rewire those things. I had to look at them. I had to stop. I had to face them, and it took courage. It did. And so because this has been such a profound thing in my life, and because I don't see anybody else taking people through this process or teaching this, I found a need in the world and I created a program for it. So we begin tomorrow. The prep work begins tomorrow. This is going to be a life-altering program. And this isn't just me teaching in this program, this is experiential. I haven't run an experiential group for 2 years. It's been 2 years since I created an experience for people. So this is going to be very much experiential. I'm going to take you through an experience that will go into your system and help navigate and rewire the old things. So what used to be here, we can hear and hear and hear, but the experience shifts it so much faster. That's why in-person events and immersion events and those kind of things are so powerful, because we go through an experience, right? So I've created this dynamic 21-day experience that's daily for 21 days, because that's how long it takes to begin that rewiring, where it's going to be so easy to take the one step back and the one step away from the things that don't belong, and the one step forward towards our dreams. And that's all that's required. I'm going to show you. I will show you and break it down for you how you see. It's only one step that's required, and that will be all the momentum that you need to keep this going, because we've shifted the other things. Does this make sense? So if you've been beating yourself up about this, time to let that shit go. Released. Let it go. You can completely let it go, because you and every other human being as well. There's nothing different about you than anyone else. Our brains are wired the same. I'm telling you, if you've been trying to do those things, it's not because you're fucked up. It's not because you had a bad childhood. It's not because you lack discipline and willpower. It has nothing to do with any of those things, and has everything to do with nobody has come in and taught you how to separate these two things and untangle them separately, and then get your action steps to back your values, so that you know that you're just settled, right? When you go to take an action, there's no resistance to doing it anymore, because you have the clarity. There's no that justification and story has been popped. We've recalibrated our energetic set point. Part of the value in being in my groups and being around me is, like, even in this Facebook Live, right? And I say this because this is true. This is just brain science, not because, I think I'm just so magically wonderful. I do think I'm magically wonderful, because I think we're all magically wonderful. But that's not my point. My point is, when you hop on a Facebook Live, just like when you get in the group, now the group is going to be 21 days of access to me. That's different. That's, solid access to me. You calibrate to my energetic set point, right? So you will begin to calibrate. So not only will you be doing the work on your own end to calibrate really rapidly, because you're going through an experience, but you're going to be in my energy, and you will begin to calibrate to my energetic set point. And I have done massive amounts of work in this arena. There's really very little that I feel unworthy of anymore. And the things I do, I'm so grateful to notice, and I know how to do the work to scale through it, right? It's why when something happens, like last month was a really tough month, I was traveling all the time. I booked a ton of one-on-ones because I miss doing them. And then I was like, oh, that's like 9 hours a week. That's I'm not used to spending doing this stuff. And so the business took a little bit of a hit last month. And my power move is to invest massively into the business, to scale everything, to massively invest. It's not to contract and get smaller. But the reason why is because it's completely unthinkable to me that the business wouldn't work and that it wouldn't work perfectly for me to be able to do everything that I love, and I just know it will. End of story. So any fear or stuff that starts to creep in, it's so easy for me to just push off and dismiss, and I'll say it out loud, I'll own it, and I move along to the next thing. And that's not to brag, that's saying I was so grateful for the skill and so thankful to wake up with this experience of like lightness and safety and a trust in myself and knowing everything's going to work out. And I'm so grateful for that because I lived 36 years, 35 years. Yeah, 35. No, I'm going to be 39 in 10 days. September 12th is my birthday. 39. So for 35 years, I lived complete panic mode, thinking I just had to solve all the problems and save everybody. And it was exhausting, right? I mean, to the point where I had attempted suicides, 21 years of bulimia. I mean, it was just absolute torture. And the level of gratitude that I have to live and experience life the way that I do now is so profound that of course I'm going to bring that as an opportunity for other people to do the same work. Of course I am. And that's how I come up with ideas I come up with, which people often ask me. Most of the time when I create a group, it's based out of gratitude for work that I've walked out and now can hold space for on the other side. That is almost always how I end up creating a group. Right longing, wrong medicine. Yeah, that's from my mom, right? That one stuck with me my whole life. We deserve to have the things we long for. Oftentimes what we reach for to have, the experience of life we long for, is the wrong medicine. I mean, for example, we're stressed out, we want to relax, we reach for wine. No, that's probably not going to get you the experience of life that you long for, right? Nothing wrong with having a glass of wine, but not when you're stressed out and trying to ground. You need to ground your ass. Wine isn't going to ground your ass. It's going to fog your brain and make you tired. It's not going to ground you, right? But if you want to have a fog brain and be tired, then you reach for the glass of wine, right? It's like we got to think of the right medicine. I've been trying to work on all this lately within myself, and here you are creating a program for it. You are right, no one is talking about this. I know, it's interesting, right? Not specifically like this, but I do think that's something I bring to the table. It is pretty rare for someone to have been on welfare and lived the kind of life I lived and scaled as quickly and rapidly as I did. So I do feel like this is a big part of my calling, and the gift that I bring to the table is I really understand what it's like to feel like most of the people in this field bringing gifts to the table and wanting to heal other people's lives have been through hell and back. Most of us, we know how painful it is to go through that life, and we want nothing more than to just help solve some of the problems and help heal some of the pain and help some of the other people who are going through everything that we went through to be able to do it easier and to do it with a sense of love and a sense of camaraderie and a sense of doing things together. And we want to give them opportunities that we never had. There's an opportunity for you to opt into this life. There's an opportunity for you to do this work. Whereas maybe we didn't have that opportunity or find that opportunity till later in life. We're bringing to that earlier. Like, here it is. Here's an opportunity for you to do this work. That's all sales is an opportunity to do things. Mine isn't any kids. It's not losing a sense of freedom while growing my business and changing my program along the way. Yeah, it's a big thing. It was for me too. When I first started my business, I felt like I literally remember having a visualization that somebody was pushing me into like this metal dog cage and locking the door, and I was like going to be locked in a dog cage. That's exactly how I felt. I was freaking out. Like, what do you mean? 9 weeks from now, you want me to know what I'm doing Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning? I don't know how I'm going to feel. What if I just got in a fight with someone? What if I'm exhausted? What if I'm in the rag? What if, like, and my brain was blown. Like, the level of commitment for me when I began this was so profoundly difficult for me. I used to miss doctor's appointments. I used to miss all sorts of appointments because I just thought my life was so fucked up, I shouldn't have to do any of those things. So to be able to scale from that level of I couldn't even imagine booking one phone call 9 weeks out to the level of commitment that I make now, where I literally run daily programs, yearly programs. It's like things are booked out it's relentless, and I have zero sense of freedom loss. And my sense of worth is so deep and profound after doing this work. There's such a sense of unshakable self-confidence inside of me that I know at any moment something's not working in my business, I get to shift it and change it. So there's no sense of loss of freedom, because if there's something I need or desire, I get to shift and change things because I just get to. And it'll work, and my clients will be fine with it, and everything will be perfectly fine. And I deeply believe that. And it's always been true as well. So yeah, these all stem from the work of believing in our worth. End of story. Oh my God, so me. 9 weeks from now, that was me. Like, I sat on the floor sobbing. I remember I was in my old office at the old house and I sat on my floor sobbing. I was like, boogers were on my carpet. I remember, because I was just like, I can't do this. I couldn't even get myself to go to a doctor's appointment then. And this was the work I did. It was about unraveling these two, not mushing them together and wondering why we can't figure it out. It's like trying to go on a diet and wonder why our diet isn't working. We keep binge eating. Like, that shit doesn't work. There's work to do on the back end. That is what we're doing on the back end. While we're releasing the story that this is genuinely, I believe I'm unworthy. No, you don't. You don't actually believe you're unworthy. I don't even know how that all got mixed together. Like, the day that I sat down and figured this out, I was like, how has this been a thing for so long? And I know I'm speaking out against like some really incredible, powerful people who teach about this stuff, but it doesn't work, does it? I mean, how's it working so far? It doesn't work. We have to separate the two and do the work separately and address both separately. There needs to be an experience involved, and then we need to have our behaviors and actions be in alignment with our values. And there has to be clarity across the board with those 4 pieces. And that's it, end of story. And that's what I'm doing in the 21 days. So let me drop the link for you guys. It is mandyperry.com /love. That is the link for this program. I'm very excited about the prep work tomorrow. The prep work tomorrow is going to start you off right away. I'm going to drop in there and I'm going to go over, literally help you break down exactly what to do right from the very get-go to get instant relief. So that's the first thing I'm doing. That's the prep work. It's not even the 21 days. Tomorrow's the prep work. And it's literally, what do you need to do to get instant relief right now, instant clarity, know exactly how to set yourself up for this moving forward and have your everything prepared. But it's really about that instant relief that comes. So that's what I'm doing in the program tomorrow. And I'm also going to go over my daily tasks, the stuff that I'm doing. Like, basically, I'm going to give you guys an idea of what the tasks look like to be in alignment with myself, like when my values are in alignment. mandyperry.com /love. Okay, the link is in the comments. I cannot wait to get started with you guys tomorrow. If you have any questions at all, just let me know. Just post it in the links below, and I'll make sure I check that. It is funny. It's funny how fast we scale when we actually do the work on the back end, the work that actually addresses the stuff going on. It's quite amazing. And I'm really excited to do this because it's going to be experiential. And quite frankly, I'm really good at creating experiences. I don't know why I stopped doing them for so long. It was just really awesome to just hammer out like sort of like that knowledge and the work through and calling people to more. It's just a season of that. And now I really feel called to doing more experiential stuff. So I'm very excited about that. So yeah, and you'll have access to this. So common questions, you will have access to this. Everything will be recorded. So if you miss one of the lives, it's recorded in the group and I engage with you just like it's live. You have access to me in the group for the 21 days. Everything will be in your membership site. When you sign up, you will get an email and it'll either let you know that you have content added to your membership, or it'll let you know that how to log in and create your new membership information, and you will get a link to the private Facebook group. And then you can join the private Facebook group, or you can just get your stuff through the email. Everything will be emailed out to you. It'll be posted in the membership site and it'll be in the Facebook group. So really you can't miss anything. Whatever form that works for you is available for you in there. If you have any questions, just let me know. If you're just hopping on, hashtag I'm here. I highly recommend going to the beginning. I dropped some pretty awesome stuff in this live today. I just went for it. It's some big girl panty stuff. I definitely recommend watching from the beginning and letting yourself absorb some of this, because this kind of stuff is what really, really shifts stuff and changes the behavior. And for God's sakes, letting go of beating ourselves up and judging ourselves and being frustrated with ourselves for how we're showing up. It was always meant to be exactly like this. And if you're here, there's no coincidence. You got to hear this. This is no, out of all the places in the world and the people and the timing in the world, you're here. It's not a coincidence. Let it absorb. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself see it. Let the vision come. Let the inspiration come. If you feel your soul saying a hell yes for the group, get in the group. Don't hesitate. Don't act. Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. And if not, then just let the Facebook Live really, like the information we dropped here tonight, really absorb inside of you, okay? I love you guys very much. Happy whatever holiday today is. Welcome to me. That's some behind the scenes stuff. Usually only my team knows. I don't know what holiday it is today. I think it's Labor Day, but I'm not sure. All right, I love you guys. Have a fantastic day.